Hi y'all, this is Sharon from Ghost Hunting Theories, and today I thought I would discuss visitations from the dead. Many people have experienced, after the loss of a loved one, a visitation from them. Sometimes it can be quite a physical experience. When my father passed on, I felt him tugging on my big toe. I looked down at the end of the bed and I saw his silhouette in the dark, and I knew that he was home, and I wondered how he got out of the hospital so quickly. Little did I know the phone was going to ring and I was going to find out that he had passed on. He was trying in his own way, I guess, to reach his 16-year-old daughter and let her know that he was okay, that he still existed. There's sort of what I would call a spiritual umbilical that's between all of us in the living state, and it exceeds the mortal plane. As a person passes on, we still have a sort of tie to them. We may intellectually know that they passed, we may physically know that they passed, but we still are connected to them. We can't quite sever that tie that quickly. And that is what enables, I think, them to reach out to us much easier and for us to perceive it. And that's the real key here, is we're mortal, and that sort of supersedes anything spiritual about us, whether we want to believe it or not. We're stuck in these bodies and all the limitations of ego and physicality and mortality. So we aren't as in tune with that part of us. But we are in tune with that part of us during the sleep stage, shifting of sleep stages, especially when you're falling asleep and waking up. You're in alpha state, and it's a wonderful time for them to be able to actually connect. And that sort of umbilical that tied us together spiritually, it does fade for us as physical beings. We have less connection to them when they are not a reality in this physical world. So usually the visitation will happen within 48 hours. It can happen within the first week, sometimes even 2 weeks, very rarely. And whether they show up to you or not, it's not a sign of how they feel about you, or that they're angry, or that they didn't love you enough, or whatever you think it is. It just always depends. It's a set of circumstances in which certainly they do visit us, but it's our perceptions that are the issue. We may not be able to perceive their presence. We may either not be connected, we may be so deep in grief, we may not be sleeping well, we may not just be accessible, or even to remember the encounters, because a lot of our dreams we don't remember, and a lot of our encounters we may not remember. So there are certain limitations, and it's all on our side, not theirs. I assure you that they do visit all of us, but we may not be able to remember it or perceive it or slow down enough to notice it. There's so many things that get in the way of that. And those who do remember the encounters and do perceive them, it's a wonderful blessing, and it helps some people. What you need to understand is that we all are not leaving this earth alive. We're all going to be joining them at some point, but we do have a certain physical existence that we have to perform and complete. We knew them, they gave us a great example, we go on, we live that example. When we have hard times, we call on them, and believe me, they are there whether we perceive them or not, and they are beside us. They are still tied to us, even though to us that umbilical is harder to perceive. But they are there, and you will know what they would tell you, and you know what they would do. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you feel their hand on your shoulder, or you smell their scent, or you think you hear their voice faintly. They give us lots of signs, and that's something to always be on the lookout for. There's signs that are peculiar just to them, things that will show up just in reference to them. A certain song, a certain bird, just a certain set of circumstances that make you go, it had to be him, So just be comforted by that knowledge, and the knowledge that, this is a blink of an eye, this time that we're stuck here in the physical realm. So any separation, when you get to the other side, I assure you, whatever, unfinished business you thought you had, it's all irrelevant there, because that's a different existence in which all the petty things that happened here were just part of being mortal. So I hope that gives you comfort. And just understand that sometimes you don't either remember or perceive the encounter, but just be looking for signs. They try very hard to give you signs.